What is up, everybody? It is Erik. I'm apparently your only fantasy friend tonight. Jason, I haven't heard from him. I don't know what he's doing. I hope he's okay. But if he pops up in the middle of this, we'll go ahead and get him on here. But for now, I promised a show to all my friends and all my fantasy friends out there at 7 yesterday. We couldn't do it yesterday, so we're going to freaking do it today, one way or another. This might be a quick show, but you know what? That is all right. We got episode 42. We're talking the fantasy championship week. We're talking a little bit of playoff implications for week 17 here. And we're just going to kind of shoot the breeze a little bit. But first and foremost, you talking good? You talking good. I mean, we have to start out with the man, the myth, the legend, the now late John Madden. Rest in peace to potentially the most influential person to football ever. Whether it be through his amazing commentary, his Hall of Fame coach career, his Hall of Fame career as a coach, um, the turducken, that's pretty cool, right? And then obviously the video game legacy that is going to live on forever. Rest in peace to him. And there will never be another John Madden. That's probably why we hate all these color commentary folks so much now. We hold them to his standard. That might not be too fair, but hey, that's what they signed up for. So once again, RIP to John Madden. Second piece of news here: COVID protocols for asymptomatic players changed from the mandatory 10-day window to now 5 days. So that is going to cut down drastically on the amount of players that we're going to have out due to COVID. I think it was something like 106 players in week 16 were out. I know that really killed me in the Scott Fishbowl with Brandon Cooks and Austin Eckler being out, but that is okay. That is fantasy football right there. But it's going to help a lot of people out. Mike Williams should be fine. Carson Wentz even has a chance to be back this week, and he literally just got put on the list yesterday, I believe. So that's really good news as far as that goes. It's good news for fantasy football. Say what you will about the whole pandemic or whatever. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to comment on that, but it makes me feel better as a fantasy manager. So we got that going for us. I wanted Jason on here for this one because this has been his champion all season, all off season. T. Higgins. T. Higgins is on like a godlike pace at this point. Three of his last five games, he's been in the top five finishes for wide receivers. But last week he was finished number one overall. Since week five, he was out. He was in week 1 and 2. He was out for a couple weeks then. But since week five, he's wide receiver 17 and half point PPR per game scoring. That's tied with Tyreek Hill, and that's only 0.1 point behind his teammate Jamar Chase. So he's just been on a tear. I mean, uh, that's really good wide receiver two numbers that I don't think anybody really expected out of him. I think at most we were hoping for maybe a high end wide receiver three this year, exceeded all expectations. He's wide receiver 9 in total points since week five among wide receivers. So that is just incredible. Top 10 wide receiver you got there uh, in the majority of the season. And like I said earlier, three of his last five finishes in the top five. I'm using a new laptop today, so if you see me screwing around and I'm looking back and forth, it's because I'm getting used to this thing. So shout out to my brother-in-law. Thanks, bro, for the laptop. um, okay, so we just talked about T Higgins a little bit, talking about Jamar Chase as well. What are the odds that the Bengals have two top 10 dynasty wide receivers? I mean, it sure as hell looks that way. Jamar Chase is like 22, 23. I should have had those numbers up in front of me. Apologies. And T. Higgins' second year in the league. They got Joe Burrow throwing the ball. I would be hard pressed to think of nine other. Jamar Chase obviously is the top 10. He's in the top 10 of dynasty wide receivers. I'm throwing T. Higgins in that ring as well, um, because I think he deserves to be there. He's proven that this year that he deserves to be there. Give me 1 second, y'all. Jason just hit me up, but he does deserve to be there. He's a top 10 dynasty wide receiver. He's young enough. He's huge. He has the offense. He has the quarterback. He has the person that is not going to allow him to be double triple teamed on the other side of the formation from him too. So Can both those guys be top 10? Oh, absolutely. Last piece of news here. We have Sean McVay has said that Cam Akers could have went last week if they needed him to go. They sure as hell didn't use Daryl Henderson. He had one rush for 17 yards, and then he hurt his knee, MCL sprain, I believe it was, out 3 to 5 weeks. So they're saying Cam. I've seen multiple reports. Cam Akers looks really great in practice. He looks really good. He could have went this last week. Yada yada. Listen, I'm just here to tell you, please don't hinge your fantasy. If you're in the championship game, please don't hinge your championship on Cam Akers this week. There has to be somebody else out there that I just don't see him getting. He might see one or two, like he's going to see minimal work. Sony Michel has been absolutely amazing since week 13. 423 rushing yards. Let me ask you, who has more than that? Is it Jonathan Taylor? No. Is it Najee Harris? He's really good too, right? No. Sony Michel, since week 13, is leading the NFL in rushing yards. What the hell is going on? I don't even, like we talked about earlier, Daryl Henderson placed on IR, so he'll be back in the playoffs. Just like, once again, please don't hinge your fantasy success in the championship game on Cam Akers. Now, if you're going to be playing in some sort of like playoff, I know the Dynasty Vipers, they do this playoff thing on, oh gosh, I forgot the name of the website. Oh my God, fantasy MFL, my fantasy league. They do stuff like that. There's different things on ESPN, NFL. Maybe he pans out a tiny bit in that. I kind of doubt it. I don't expect anything from Cam Akers this year. I will say this though. You're probably a little late now. However, if you're in a keeper league, please go and just double check to see if he's on your waiver wire. If he is, pick his ass up now, because you never know what can happen during the offseason. He could, Sony Michel, I think he's with a 1-year deal, so you never know what's going to happen. And Cam Akers might be that physical freak anomaly that comes back, 95% of what he was before the Achilles tear. So please make sure that he is rostered, and if he's not, make sure you roster him, because he's going to be great. I won't say great. He's going to be valuable for Dynasty, whether that be via trade speculation. Are people going to get super excited about him? You should have traded him before last season, because his value is incredible. Like top 5 Dynasty running back I was hearing some people like myself, I should have traded him. But I think he's going to be fine for Dynasty. So make sure you got him. Okay, moving on to our next little section here. And we'll circle back around. I think Jason's trying potentially to get on. But if not, that is okay. Our next segment here. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. So if you're unfamiliar with this, if you're unfamiliar with that, that's a cartoon from like the, mid 2000s that was hilarious. Probably it's very not PC. So if you're, a soy boy, don't go watch that because you'll get offended. Just like some of these soy boys getting offended about like talking about John Madden and how his video games proliferated. Jesus Christ, that's a hard word to say. Proliferated some sort of. I'm not going to get into the race part of it, but talking about concussions and things like that, dude, shut up and drink your soy latte, little frappuccino things at Starbucks, and leave football to men, okay? Just not men, but real grown-ups, real adults. Sorry, not men, because women can enjoy football and play football just as much as we can. Leave it to the adults. How about that? Anyways, here's my rant going. So Jason didn't put his Juggernaut in here because he's just being lazy this week. I don't know what's going on. And let me say this too. Damn it, he's not on here. So Jason and I are playing each other in 2 different championships. He's in 4 or 5 championship games. I'm in 5 championship games. We got 40% of those championship games are against each other. So if he was here, I'd be talking this much trash, but he's not. So I can talk as much trash as I want. Jason, you're going to lose like really, really bad. And we have our home redraft league. There's a trophy for, and then our home dynasty league. There's a belt, like a championship wrestling belt. I'm in the championship games of both of those, and I can't wait for y'all to see. The trophy will probably be right here. It'll replace my Harry Potter mug right there, and then the belt I'll probably just strap up somewhere over here. But it'll be a constant reminder to Jason and the rest of my league mates that I am better than them. But anyways, Juggernaut of the week for me, it's going to be Amari Cooper, wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. And if you didn't know that, probably are not watching this right now. But man, he was the squeaky wheel that got a lot of grease last week. 11 targets. Let's look at his exact line: 11 targets, 7 receptions, 85 yards, and 1 touchdown. And he only played 71% of the snaps because Dallas was beating the brakes off of Washington. So he really didn't need to play a whole bunch. It was 42-7. So if I got any Washington fans out there, sorry about that. Not really. It felt real nice. But I think that continues this week, man. The Cardinals have given up the second most points per game to the wide receiver position over the last 4 weeks. They signed Rashad Breeland ahead of their Week 16 game. So that is going to tell you how bad that secondary is. They just signed Rashad Breeland. Yeah, that same Rashad Breeland. Um, Honestly, though, I do like this game to be kind of a shootout. Dallas's defense has been pretty good. They haven't played against the greatest competition the past 4 or 5 weeks. So I really am. I do believe this is going to be a shootout type game. So does Vegas. This is the highest over under of the week at 52 points. So I could definitely see Kyler Murray having to sling the ball a lot, and Dak's going to have to sling the ball a lot too. Um, I really, really think Amari Cooper is the play this week over CD Lamb. Um, I don't know what they look like in DFS. I've given up on DFS because it hurt me too many times this year. But I imagine Amari is priced lower than CD. I would prioritize him personally. I think that that run continues. And honestly, the offense just runs better when Amari gets more targets. So why not keep that going? And once again, this is a secondary you can absolutely do that on. Absolutely. So there's my juggernaut of the week, Amari Cooper, my man. And it's not just because I'm a Dallas fan, but maybe just a tad, right? All right. So we're doing, I thought I had this thing down. I don't. That's okay. So we're looking at the playoff picture because it's freaking week. We're coming up on week 17. This is fantasy championship week. But we're going to look at the playoff picture, NFL playoff picture. I don't have my main man, Jason, here to help me break down all of the fantasy implications and who you should play, who you shouldn't play, yada, yada. At this point, number one, in a redraft league, the people who are eliminated, and that includes the loser bracket, unless there's draft order on the line, then that's a different case altogether. But they should be locked from doing anything with waivers. So the waivers should be open to the last two teams. Realistically, I mean, there's not a whole lot of meat. There's not a whole lot of players that aren't already taken out there. To be quite honest, Isaiah McKenzie has been one that I've heard. Naeem Hines now. I was able to pick him up in my main redraft league where I'm in the championship game, just in case. I forget, maybe it was the Ballers talking about it today. It was some other podcast talking about it today. But go through, look and make sure that those handcuffs for those big time running backs, your Alexander Madison, your Tony Pollards, they both should be rostered for sure. Uh, Derek Gore from freaking Kansas City saw just a great workload last week. So make sure you're looking at guys like that. Other than that, your roster should be pretty much set. If you do have any like start sit questions, if you want me to weigh in on them, I am more than happy to do that. But while if you don't, that's fine. If you do, that is cool too. But while we wait, I want to look at this AFC, which I believe is just a lawless wasteland of what the hell's going to happen. Because right now you only have one team out of seven who has already clinched a playoff berth, and that's Kansas City. Excuse me, they're sitting at 11-4. So we have we have 4 teams at 9-6 and 4 teams at 8-8. That is a lot. Um, so let's look at the week 17 matchups here. And I have a little bit of stuff here. What if this team wins and this team is automatically in the playoffs? Yada yada. I'd rather look at the matchups personally. I think we glean more fantasy information out of that as well. So we're going to look at some pivotal matchups. Not every matchup. I don't give a shit about the Jets and whoever they're playing. It really doesn't. Sorry, Jets fans, but it really doesn't matter. There's not a lot of fantasy meat on that bone there. But week 17 pivotal matchups. Cincinnati is one of those 4, 9-6 teams, and they are hosting Kansas City. Kansas City, who has already, we already talked about that, they are the one guaranteed playoff. Oh my God, something's happening. Sorry, y'all. Jesus Christ. NFL.com. Okay, let me just say, I've got like 16 tabs open. NFL.com. Can you please stop with the automatic freaking videos that go off randomly? I don't care. I'm not there to watch a video. I'm here to read words. But anyways, Cincinnati 9-6. Just Joe Burrow 525 yards last week. Lord have mercy, has that kid leveled up? And let me tell you, I know it's been said by every freaking pundit, however you say that, but that dude playing with a chip on his shoulder, talking shit to the Baltimore defensive coordinator. I love to see it. I love to see it. And this is one of the best offenses. I don't care what anybody says. This is one of the best offenses in the National Football League in Cincinnati. So Cincinnati to clinch an AFC to clinch the AFC North, all they have to do is win. So if they can beat Kansas City, no matter what else happens, if Baltimore wins, blah blah blah, it doesn't matter. If they beat Kansas City, they clinch the AFC North division title and one of the top 4 seeds in the AFC. They can also, I'm not going to go through all the tie nonsense. That's what all this other stuff looks like. Am I predicting? Kansas City's been incredibly hot lately. Cincinnati's been pretty hot lately too. I want to say that the December, actually, this will be a January game, but the January playoff push experience for the Kansas City Chiefs is going to put them over the hump in this game. However, I still think that Joe Burrow's okay. You have to start T. Higgins. You have to start Jamar Chase. You have to start Joe Mixon. And then on the other side of the ball, Darrell Williams, I think he's going to be just incredible. CEH is out with a collarbone injury. And obviously we saw Derek Gore get a butt load, of touches and production last week. But I think it's going to be the Darrell Williams show. He is even when CEH was there, he was pretty much the red zone back. He's the pass catching back. I expect him to be pretty dang good for fantasy in week 17. Now, Tyreek Hill, you always have to start. Travis Kelce is back. He practiced today, which is Wednesday. Oh my God. Look who it is. Who's that? Who's that guy?
Had to race to it.
Sorry, man. That is all good. We just been in here. I just been in here chopping it up by myself. Let me see if I can. Actually, I like how this.
Yeah, we were a little up close and personal.
I like this one. Okay. Well, let me go back through then, Jason. I'm sitting in 19 minutes right now, and I'm almost. I'm already in the playoff preview. So let's go back through. I want to talk to you. I talk real fast. Mm-hmm. I want to talk to you a little bit about the You Talking Good segments, all that good stuff. But first, how you living?
I'm living strong, man. How many times you tell him? How many times you tell him I didn't get on here because you was going to beat me this weekend?
Oh, just maybe a dozen or so.
How many times you tell him I was playing with Barbies?
I actually didn't say that.
You didn't tell him that?
No.
I figured
you get a pass, man. You have a daughter. It's fine.
That fucking camper? Nah, son.
Bro,
nah.
I'll tell a quick story. We'll get into it, man. My father-in-law sent like a shed type thing. So it's like a 4x4x3 like little playhouse utility shed thing that the girls can play in. I was like, oh shit, this looks easy. It just pops out. Dude, I open that thing up. One part has 92 screws. I was like, oh God. It says I need 2.5 hours for construction. So I'm off work. I'm off
Yeah.
work tomorrow and Friday, so that's what I'll be doing.
Wonderful.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, man. So number one, we went R.I.P. John Madden.
R.I.P.
What
man.
what are you? What are your? Do you have like a first memory or like a lasting memory or anything of John Madden?
Well, for me, it was always Thanksgiving. Obviously, I took him for granted as a child. You don't really know, how great he is. You don't really know that he was breaking ground and everything. So what I remember him most for is definitely like, especially the Cowboys. As much as I hate to say it, they always getting those giant turkeys with like 8 legs and
The
shit. Yeah,
the
he
turduckins.
he had the turducken, but then he also had these like hybrid turkeys farm that he had, and he would give players of the game these massive turkeys. And I always remember like on Thanksgiving, like who's getting John Madden's turkey?
Yeah.
Who's going to be good enough?
Right.
That was almost bigger than winning the game.
To me, it was always. I already talked about it a little bit, but I forgot to mention this. It was always the crazy scribbling that he did on the screen. All right, what you got right here is this and this and this. And I also mentioned it earlier. It's like you already hit on the head nail on the head. We took it for granted because now we bitch and complain and moan about everybody except for Tony Romo, basically as a
Mm-hmm.
color commentator.
Mm-hmm.
He set the bar too high, man. Like
He really did.
and not to mention, obviously we have the John Madden video game franchise or the Madden franchise, and it, he might be the most influential person to the game of football ever.
Yeah.
And yeah, just rest in peace. That's our biggest thing for that.
Oh yeah, I couldn't be a bigger fan. My brother's a Raiders guy. It's just
Mm.
too easy. It's too easy to like John. I don't know if you got to see. We all actually got together on Christmas. I don't know if you got to see All Madden yet or not.
No, I haven't. It's on my watch list for sure.
That was a Mitchell family celebration. We all watched it. I
Oh,
wished at the time that I would have put two and two together and thought, oh, they know something's wrong. That's why they're putting this out now. But
you know what's crazy? From everything I've heard, it was unexpected though.
at, at 95.
He's 85. I
Oh,
mean
he's
85.
85.
85 still old as hell.
Yeah,
But I
I thought he
mean,
was
but
95.
no, I thought so. He seems like he's pretty much been the same age since 1990.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? Like he's like yeah. Me and my brother used to laugh because we like it was maybe me and you used to pick and be like, Al, get me another Jack and Coke, because he just like he would say some wild shit like as like his like later years in commentating.
Yeah, I will
Him
say
and
his later years, you and I gave that guy just tons of hell.
but it
Um,
was so entertaining though.
it was.
Like
Well, the reason I brought up the movie is I was going to tell you there's a scene in the movie. It's so great. You see him before they gave him the pen and everything, and you see him doing one of his early jobs. This guy, I shit you not, this guy is grabbing the prompter screen and has his face in it. He's like, now what he's doing right here is blah, 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 blah. And you're
jeez.
just like, oh shit, that wasn't a thing he developed. That was literally day one, like shoves his face in it. He's like, well, I'll tell you what's going on here. And the other thing I didn't know that I found out about him that I thought was really great was he donated an old playbook to the original Madden video game so that they would have realistic play art.
Bro,
And I
that's
didn't know
so
that.
cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that like the original playbook was John Madden's playbook. That makes it even more.
That just gave me freaking goosebumps, man, for
Yeah.
real. That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, anyways, rest in power, rest in peace, John Madden. We appreciate as two football ginormous nerds, we appreciate everything.
Everything.
So COVID, I just talked a little bit. COVID protocols. You see that for asymptomatic players have been cut from 10 mandatory days down to 5.
5.
So that there was something like 106 players that were that didn't play. I think it was weeks 15 and week 16.
Yeah.
It sure as shit felt like it last week, at least. I know we were talking about it, man. It was rough out there.
I mean, we didn't even do a show because we were like, what are we going to tell them?
We did. That was
I don't want to tell you to start somebody. I don't want to tell you to start somebody and he gets COVID tomorrow. Like we had to kind of hold back and wait with the rest of the league and the rest of the fantasy community and go, what's going to happen? Because I can't even believe that you and I got as far as we got in some of these leagues, considering how many holes we had to jump through.
Man, I do want to have a full episode this off season about us, like our hits
Yeah.
and our misses. I want to have a full episode for our misses as well. But I'll just throw it out there real quick for we got two people watching right now. Jason, number let me brag on Jason actually. So Shane Barrett has these amazing leagues called multiverse leagues. He is the commissioner for that one, along with FF Tycoon, who is awesome. Follow on Twitter as well, so definitely follow him. But they're part of the FF Collective. Collective starts with a K. Anywho, um, he commissions those two leagues. Jason is in the championship of both of those leagues. I'm in the championship of one, and I'm in the third place game of another. But I just want to say that sometimes that Jason and I we might not be the most mathematically. I'm not going to talk to you about the R regression model. I don't understand that, but I guarantee you that Jason and myself, but Jason too, or Jason mostly, we'll freaking we're pretty good at fantasy football. I'm not trying to like be a dick or like put ourselves over super hard. We're pretty fucking good at fantasy football. So
We're gamers.
yeah, there you go. We've been doing this for a long time too, but like I said, we're not perfect. I get plenty of shit wrong all the
Yeah.
time,
All the
all
time
the
we get.
time. But
Yeah.
but just stick with us during the off season. We're going to try and do a show every single week during the off season. We'd like to bring a bunch of y'all along to
Yeah.
some Fantasy Friends championship titles, man. Because Jason, you're in 5, right? 4 or 5 championships
Uh, actually, I'm only in 3 championships.
in 3.
Yeah, I didn't get into the other some of the other podcaster stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you,
Yeah.
got you. So I'm in 5. So between us, we have 8 freaking championships that we're doing. And we
Yeah.
both have pretty much the same amount of leagues going on. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, please, we would love for you to stick with us during the off season and grow Fantasy Friends together. But there's our shameless plug. And like, once again, we're not trying to sit here and brag and like freaking pat our own back. I'm telling you, the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean,
Um,
like he said, we probably can't give you all the fancy digits all the time, but I think if you've been watching the show and you look back, a lot of the stuff that I bring to you is based on something I've seen, know to work, some kind of fact somewhere. And we do have episodes where we drill numbers. Sometimes I have to sit here and go blah 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 blah, reading something because there's just so many numbers. But I mean, hey. And I'm still calling it a win. We gave him T. Higgins, baby. We gave him T. Higgins.
you know what? That's a perfect damn segue, Jason. That's a perfect segue because the man has been ungodly. Like 3 of the past 5 weeks, he's finished as a top 4 wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
3 of the past 5, including the number 1 overall wide receiver last week. Excuse me, I can't talk today very, very well. Is he going to sustain the success, do you think, against the Chiefs?
Against the Chiefs,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think these teams go all out. I think these teams get in a gunfight, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I think the biggest thing with T. Higgins is, first of all, you can't coach 6'5". I've said that probably 200 times on this show. And secondly, when they brought in Jamar Chase, you got to understand. I don't think a lot of people call it on right away. Like, that's the perfect poison because he can do so much underneath that you really don't want that guy. You don't want him on an island. So, with what he does, and as good as Joe Mixon has been, the way they've ran the ball, that was a surprise. But
that was a miss by me. But go ahead.
Yeah, the way they've ran the ball, paired with how they've thrown the ball, and just Joey B, man. Burrow's got ice in his veins. Love that kid.
You see his comments after last week?
The one where they asked him about the gold jacket.
Yeah,
dude. He's
that's
swaggy.
the kind of yes.
We knew it with the whole LSU cigar picture. Like, you just knew Joe Burrow had swag.
Yeah,
and
man.
It just bleeds it.
Yeah, I love that kid. I talked about it a little bit earlier. I just love the grit that he plays with, and he really does. Honest to God, his attitude reminds me of like a Tom Brady, like an Aaron Rodgers, with a little bit of Peyton Manning mixed in there with the humor. So I'm not saying he's those 3 guys by any means. And you got to think too, Tyler Boyd underneath. This might, honest to God, dude, Cincinnati might be the best offense right now. At least let's put it this way: from a talent perspective,
Mhm.
might be top three best offense in the NFL.
Yeah, what are they missing? A tight end?
Even that, the only thing that they're missing really is experience.
Yeah.
That's it. That is
Who's
that
who
is
your
it.
mama can play sometimes?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh dude, he had like a 3 touchdown or at least a 2 touchdown game. It
Was
was
it
like
3 weeks ago?
October or September 30th. I remember watching that game. I was at work until freaking midnight. Anywho, but anyway, so T Higgins. So you think he's going to sustain? I do as well. I wouldn't say I don't. I'm not going to bank on a top 5
20. I
performance.
wouldn't go 20. No.
I would say top 24,
Yeah,
top
he's going to do
24
what you drafted
easy.
him to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And just a couple of numbers, Jason. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. Since week 5, because he played week 1 and 2, he played a little hurt, if I remember correctly. Then he missed weeks 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Since week 11, he's the wide receiver 17 in PPR or half PPR points per game. So wide receiver 17. That is tied with Tyreek Hill. That is he's 0.1 point behind Jamar Chase during that time.
Yeah.
So they've both
Wow.
been incredible. During that time, total points wise, wide receiver 9. Wide receiver 9. The dude is, and this leads me to my next question because we already talked about Jamar Chase. We talked about Joey B. We talked about Joe Mixon. I've already answered this. I want to get your perspective on it. Do the Cincinnati Bengals legitimately have 2 top 10 dynasty wide receivers on their roster?
I say yeah. I say absolutely. As long as they keep Joe Burrow under center, I don't see any reason to think not.
My biggest thing was you can't double the other guy. When you have those 2 guys on either sides, and they both have that versatility. Jamar Chase a little bit more to play in the slot because T. Higgins is just massive, and you're not like really going to
Yeah.
put a 6'5" guy in the slot. And then you got Tyler Boyd underneath, Joey B, Joe Mixon. Dude,
And Tyler Boyd makes you pay.
he will make you
How
pay.
dare disrespect him one good time? He'll make you pay because if even when you think you got the other 2 clamped down, did you see that play last week where he just goes, man? And
56 yards.
it was so dirty, but you could see like you saw the outside corners were like, yeah, we got it. That was so
Not
much
so
fun.
fast, my friend.
So much fun. You saw him
man.
locked down, and you're like, oh, you idiots.
I'm just not sure if there's a better trio of wide receivers in the NFL. Off the top of my head, I cannot think. I mean, I don't think Dallas is as good as them.
But you can't keep your boy Gallup on the field, so
I know.
But
It kills
hey,
me.
you got some of the best. You got probably the best wide receiver duo and tight end situation.
Oh, Dalton Schultz.
I love the kid,
Dude. Yes, same. I really hope they pay him this offseason. But we'll definitely. I can't wait to do our free agency. Those are legit my favorite episodes to do. Are the free agency ones, man. Those are fun.
Those were too much fun.
So we both agree, man. I do believe that they have 2 top 10 wide receiver or dynasty wide receivers on their roster. I'd love to at sometime this offseason to do before we get the rookies in there, a top 10 or top 12 or 15 or something for dynasty wide receivers. And I'm curious where they land for me.
Sounds great.
Jason, since week 13, Sony Michel has 423 rushing yards. Can you name any running backs that have more than him during that time?
I mean, probably JT. No? Well, then no.
Sony Michel, since week 13, is leading the NFL in rushing. What the fuck is going on?
I don't know. That's some fucking stupid shit right there. They don't respect him. That's what it is.
I still don't respect him. Even after looking that up today, I was like, what? No.
Nah. I know everybody wants Cam Akers to come back and win you your league, but it's not going to happen. Guys are going to keep running him, and he's going to keep infuriating us. And then next season, he'll probably be back to nothing, but, he probably won't have a job. Or he'll be a backup, deep backup.
And it's interesting you said that about Cam Akers because really the whole section is about Cam Akers. Sean McVay said that Cam can be – they could have used him last week if they wanted to, or if they needed him. Mm-hmm. I kind of felt like they did because they only ran Darrell Henderson one time, and then he sprained his MCL. But so I told the folks earlier, I don't think Cam Akers is relevant at all this season, at least this regular season. if they make it to the Super Bowl, then maybe he sees, you know, 30% snap share, maybe. But yeah, but I did tell him keeper leagues. Make sure that you check your waiver wire because somebody, this little son of a bitch over here, was very smart. He picked him up a couple weeks ago in our keeper league. But just make sure that if he's rostered, man, for real,
Yeah.
because we never know what could happen. I don't know what Daryl Henderson's contract situation looks like. Sony Michel's on a 1-year deal. I'm almost positive about that. So stay tuned for our waiver wire shows because those are a lot of fun. All right. Did you get us a fantasy juggernaut this week, Jason? Did you have
Oh,
time
yeah. Well,
amidst all your working and stuff,
all the hot pink,
all the Barbies?
all the COVID and hot pink latex. Uh, so this is what I would say. I actually looked at it, and my fantasy juggernaut of the week is the Green Bay Packers 1 and 2 starting wide receivers, Devontae Adams and even Lazard this week. I absolutely love. They're playing Minnesota. They're the second worst against the pass. Aaron Rodgers is going to run through them like a hot knife into butter. You probably have 4 to 5 TDs. So you're looking at a Devontae getting a good amount. You're looking at Lazard getting a look. Hey, you know what I didn't realize about Adam Lazard? He's 6'5".
He's a big boy.
I didn't know that. I couldn't tell it on screen. I never saw the depth there. But like after last week, there was a lot of leagues where I have him stashed, dynasties and whatnot. And dude, I fired him up in a lot of places this week because Rodgers is going to have so much fun throwing the football.
I'm going to hit you with this real quick, Jason.
Hit me with it.
You know what it says?
What does
Can
it
you
say?
see that?
I can't.
Hashtag selfish prediction.
Yeah, it is, but it isn't. When you're talking about Aaron Rodgers against the second worst pass defense in football, what's Patrick Peterson going to do? What's he going to do?
Sit there and be old.
Yeah, he's just going to shout at Devontae.
Yeah.
And he's going to cross him up like 6 times just to give him a reminder.
Yeah, I really don't like that.
It's going to be nonsensical.
You've got him in our freaking our redraft or our keeper. I keep saying redraft.
Yeah.
Our keeper home league.
Piss me off, and I'll put Lazard in the flex, and I'll just milk Green Bay all the way, baby.
Oh shoot. Okay, I do like that. I won't repeat. Mine was Amari Cooper. I already said all the stats and stuff.
Oh, I love Amari. Well, but I'll say this. Are you guys going to play like you've been playing? Or are you going to play like the team last week who had to be, and I'm not, I'm trying to be nice, but let's be honest. Dallas got beat up in the media all week leading up to that game, and they shit all over Washington. Yay. But I kind of said back last week, and if we had done a show, probably the only thing I would have said that I knew for a fact was Dallas was going to go off because everyone in the sports media world was talking ridiculous amounts of shit to this team simply because the playoff picture is forming and they need to be the dominant team that everyone says they are. They need to play that way. Mm-hmm. And so, I love what we saw against Washington, but are we going to see that Dallas again? Really? We sure about that?
Against Arizona, man. So I dislike, I don't think Arizona has a good secondary. Great safeties.
Yeah, I know.
But their corners, not so much. Their pass rush, man. That's what it's going to come down to for Dallas. I keep shaking my table here. That's what it's going to come down to. If Dallas wants to play like they played against Washington, then our tackles have to hold up against Chandler Jones because that dude is a one-man freaking wrecking ball. So we have to. I don't worry about our defense so much. At least I don't worry about our pass rush against Arizona. I think that we can make Kyler uncomfortable. Trayvon Diggs is Trayvon. He's got 11 interceptions. Dude is a baller, but he gives up a lot of yards. He gives a pretty high passer rating when targeted. But let me tell you about this. Arizona, since losing DeAndre Hopkins, has looked anemic. Their offense is just awful. It's awful without him, Jason. I don't understand.
Well, you and I said it. AJ Green was not the guy. Even though he played better, he technically has played better. is still not the guy.
Yeah,
And
no.
Christian Kirk is, in my opinion, a very linear player.
Christian Kirk is at best a number 2 wide receiver.
Mhm, mhm.
I think he's probably more suited for his role that he had when Hop was healthy as a
Yeah,
number 3 wide receiver.
exactly. I think that's his real role. You don't want him on the outside. Well, if you do, you want him just to run a go route. So, um,
But I'll say this: Vegas thinks that it's going to be a high scoring game. It's the highest over under of the week at 52.
and James Conner might not play.
Yeah, man. I see a lot. So for this matchup, we'll talk a little fantasy. I could see Chase Edmonds having an absolute game.
Hmm.
Our linebackers can't cover for shit. Our safeties aren't really good at covering either.
Yeah.
So you could see Chase Edmonds just get everything out of the freaking backfield.
He might.
But I honestly don't expect much from maybe Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz probably has a good game as well because Zach Ertz freaking kills Dallas every time he plays us. That son of a bitch.
Yeah, y'all are his team, man.
Yeah. So that's what I'll say. Kyler Murray will still get it done. I wanted to ask you about a question here. Hold on a second. Just asking for a friend, and I don't want to make anybody second guess themselves or anything. But would you play Tom Brady over Kyler Murray this week, or do you have the
I'm pointing
against the Jets where they're just Ronald Jones is going to have like 200 yards?
It'll be fine. I'm playing the goat.
Okay. I would just hate to see Kyler Murray have 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and then Tom Brady just hands the ball off to Ronald Jones every time.
Tom needs
Keyshawn Vaughn.
Tom needs a get back game himself. He's been slacking and he knows it.
I think Mike Evans is out again this week. Did you see that?
I haven't seen that yet. I hope that's not the case.
Well, obviously Chris Godwin is out.
Yeah,
but he got his favorite target back in freaking Antonio Brown, so that really don't matter.
And then I think Evans will play.
Yeah, I just thought I saw something earlier about him getting placed on the COVID list, but I think he was already on that.
He was already on that.
Okay, maybe I said that. Anywho. So for the playoff picture, Jason, I only got a little bit of the way through it. The AFC is crazy. It's a lawless, vast wasteland where Kansas City's the only team to clinch a playoff berth right now. They're 11-4. You got the Tennessee Titans at 10-5, if my memory serves me correctly, and then you have 4 teams at 9-6 and 4 teams at 8-8. That's a lot of spots up for grabs. So what I wanted to do is not go through every single I'm not going to go through Tampa Bay and the New York Jets. Play no New York Jets. Maybe Michael Carter if you have to.
Yeah.
And play all your Tampa Bay folks. But I wanted to go through some pivotal matchups that more have, I guess, say on the actual playoff picture itself. Not necessarily the fantasy. We could talk about the fantasy implications if you want. But the first one I got here, man, Cincinnati is one of those 4 9-6 teams, and they're hosting Kansas City. KC has already got their spot up for grabs, but they're going for that number 1 seed. What do you think happens in this game? I know we talked about it a little bit earlier.
We said that we thought KC would win out the rest of the season. That was our earlier prediction. Wow, man. This one's a showstopper. You don't really give 2 shits about that Cincinnati run defense without CEH out there. Man, I like Joe. I like Joey B. I think he upsets. I take it back. I don't think they're going to win out. I think Joey B upsets them this week. I'm going Bengals.
So this is what Cincinnati has. If they win, all they have to do is win. They clinch the AFC North. I'm not going to go through all the tie shit. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do all that. It's like 18 scenarios.
But if they win,
that's what I'm saying. So for me, they had a huge emotional game last week. I don't trust Zach Taylor as far as I can throw him. Just to be honest, I don't think that this success is on Zach Taylor's shoulders whatsoever. I think this is on the offense, Joe Burrow, and everyone we talked about earlier.
Right.
I'm going to say Kansas City wins this game, and
Damn.
I do. I just think Kansas City wins this game.
I just think they looked really human this year, and we got to remember
Agreed,
that.
but not lately. but not
Not
lately.
really.
But not
This is
lately.
true. This is true.
Okay, so after that we got Baltimore at 8-7, hosting the Rams at 11-4. The Rams are already in the playoffs for the NFC. Um, I don't think they've clinched. Let me see here.
No Lamar, right?
I don't believe so, man. What is Lamar dealing with? An ankle sprain. That's right, a high ankle
Yeah.
sprain.
They got to be smart.
Ooh, they got to get in the playoffs, number one.
Yeah.
And right now, they are on the inside looking in. If it was to end today, from my understanding, I had it up a while ago, but I damn lost it.
There's no way they're winning. You're not gonna beat that LA defense without Lamar Jackson. There's no way they're winning. You
Yeah,
can't go out
agreed.
there with a Costco quarterback and play LA. Like, it's not going to work.
Terrible. So yeah, man, I tend to agree with you. I think the Rams win this game, plunging Baltimore to 8-8 and making Week 18 an absolute must-win game for them to have any sort of choice or any sort of chance to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Especially if Lamar plays. If Lamar plays, you know what? If Lamar plays, I'll take Baltimore because I believe in that franchise. I believe in Lamar, to be honest with you. As far as being a clutch son of a gun,
he showed us earlier this year.
Yeah, throwing 5 damn touchdowns.
Finally did it.
Yeah, and I think he's. And you're seeing Rashad Bateman come on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood Brown's always, and Mark Andrews catches everything.
Mark Andrews
scores all the touchdowns. So just keep throwing him the ball would be my would be my guess. But okay, so we both got. If Lamar's back, I'll take Baltimore. But in that game, I don't know how you start in a championship game. How you start Marquise Brown or Rashad Bateman? Mark Andrews, obviously number one. I ain't starting none of those running backs for Baltimore. I don't care.
I think Devontae's earned it. I think Devontae Freeman. If you had to lean on one of them, it's him. He's done well enough.
You have to.
He's a flex guy. He's a flex guy.
Yeah, that's fair. And then as far as the Rams go, I'm playing Sony Michel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing
Cooper Kupp.
I might play Cooper. No, Baltimore's been awful against the wide receiver this year. So I know on Yahoo, at least in our scoring, he's predicted to score 20 points. So
yeah,
what does that mean? Probably not much, but still, he's the number one wide receiver on the year.
Odell's a good flex
OBJ,
play this week.
I like OBJ this week as well.
He's a wide receiver 3.
He's absolutely. My mind has absolutely been changed about him since he's got to LA. He's looked really good. So I don't like him, but I will play him. And then Tyler Higbee, I don't know. No, just don't.
Look. If you're stuck with him, if you drafted him, that's what you have,
bro. I don't even. I'm looking. Let me look at the waiver wire.
Dude, tight ends are bad.
The tight ends are horrible.
Yeah,
but there's got to be something better out there.
Think so?
Maybe my light just turned off. Hold on.
Let's take a look. I got you. Let's take a look here. Trending up. Let's take a look. I don't see a single tight end. They got you. Okay, so Gerald Everett.
I would play Gerald Everett over Tyler Higbee.
Okay, he'd be available in a lot of leagues. Let's see here. I don't have the percentage in front of me. I'm trying to do this on the fly. But what about John Bates? Washington.
No.
Who's your mama? Going to Kansas City.
No, I think at best he's like the 5th option in the passing game.
Here's one that pisses me off. Foster Moreau. I want to smack Darren. Do you understand how many people have been waiting for this week? Like, he'll come back. He'll save me. It's okay.
No.
All this time could have been working for another guy. Luckily I got my boy Dalton in pretty much every league that I could, but Dalton Schultz. But this is a terrible matchup for him. So if you did kind of have a security blanket behind your security blanket and Darren Waller, I hope that it wasn't Dalton Schultz because I'm gambling hard on that one.
I
What
think you'll be
about
fine.
Fryermuth? He's available in a lot of leagues.
Let me see what. So I like
Ooh.
Firemouth, man. Let me
I
see what.
like him as a player. I hate that he plays for the damn Steelers.
Well, everybody does. Nobody likes the Steelers for real.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cole Kmet's probably available in a lot of leagues.
yeah, I would not play Tyler Higbee. It looks like he's been out. He's been injured. He was back last week. He did see 6 targets last week, but I think there's a lot of mouths to feed
There's a
on
lot of
that
mouths
team.
to feed on that offense, but I didn't see anybody particularly
The only person I would
exciting.
say definitely would be Gerald Everett, just because he's been getting peppered with targets. If
But
you're a huge underdog, go Pat Fryermuth. He could catch 2 touchdowns.
just remember Lockett's back this week. So,
Fair. That's a very fair point. Yep. So let's nix that.
yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Actually, I would probably still start Everett over him, but
Over Higbee?
over Higbee. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's so hard, but I wouldn't take any of those waiver wire gems. I mean,
Yeah.
hey,
I think you're right.
yeah, if you were in worse shape, maybe we could talk about some of those guys, but not over Tyler Higbee.
Not in your championship game. You don't need to. Don't be
No.
dumpster diving that bad.
Well, tight ends aren't that bad. So
Honestly, man,
you could have
you
had
probably have one of the top guys. Probably have one of the top guys to be in your championship game, anyways. I would be willing to bet that either George Kittle, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelsey, Dalton Schultz, one of those 4 is rostered by whoever's in your championship game.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anybody. Oh, Pitts probably is out there a
Maybe
little bit. He might be out there a
Pitts had
little
a good
bit.
game last week, or was it last week or the week before? But Pitts has been
Week before.
so off and on, and I'm trying to look here. Who's actually so me and my brother in our dynasty league against each other.
Oh, Gronk is a guy
Oh,
that you
the
might look at
Gronkinator.
this week. Yeah, we talked about that matchup. That was one thing I didn't see from Brady last week that I highly expected to see. So don't sleep on that matchup this week because I don't think I saw him target Gronk in the red zone at all, and that is definitely going to switch up. So
Now you're going to see some regression to the mean, and by the mean I mean he's going to throw him a shit ton of,
which and
of
they
red
and
zone
they
passes.
and they came in saying this is a hat and shirt game. So they knew that. I don't know if you knew that. Did you know that about the whole? They came in, it was a hat and shirt game, and Brady had to lecture these guys about what that means. You understand what that means, right?
I don't. I was going to say you're going to have to lecture me, man.
A hat and shirt game is when you'll win your division or you'll win something significant, and they've got all the shirts and hats already made. And if you lose it, you're an
Oh.
asshole because they have to throw it all. Or they send it to third world countries. So Brady was like, "Yeah, no, we haven't won this division, and since he hasn't won an NFC division title ever, but he has won several AFC ones. Probably more than seven,
Sure.
probably 12
Yeah,
or 13, probably.
yeah, something
But
like that.
but this was a big deal because this kind of gave him the AFC and the NFC. It was also something the franchise hadn't done. Probably, God Almighty, I can't imagine when the last time they may have won.
2003
Yeah,
when they won the Super Bowl.
won a division. Yeah, probably. So, but yeah, so that was one of the other reasons I think that they ran the hell out of the ball so much is because they were trying to secure an easy win, get the hat and shirt, win the division, do something for the franchise, and more importantly, keep checking those boxes for TB12. He ain't doing this for no reason. So,
Like he
with
don't have
that,
enough boxes already.
right. And so with that being said, sure you can run all over the Jets, but we know who Tom Brady is. Tom Brady doesn't give a shit who you are. It's target practice every week. And if he so sees it, if he decides he feels it, you're dead. So I like Gronk this week.
Agreed, man, and that's a very good point. And really, that's how Tampa Bay wants to do. They want to throw the ball a bajillion times. No, it don't matter if their quarterback's 44 or not. They're like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to throw the ball 45 times because fuck you. That's why.
Because we can.
Because we can, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so now we got your Tennessee Titans at 10-5, hosting literally the hottest team in the NFL right now, Miami at 8-7. Jason, they are the only team, I'm sure you saw this, with a 7-game losing streak and a 7-game winning streak in the same season. Crazy as hell. So they've won, they're winners of 7 straight. and they're going to be playing in Tennessee. What do you think about this game right here?
I think the good Lord is testing us, Eric. We have to.
Okay.
Have you seen the march through hell that we've had to go through? I'm telling you what, Tennessee has had to earn every damn inch of skin they have, man. They have had anything. Honestly, talk shit about the Titans, whatever. Like, please do. They've earned everything. You know what I mean? Like, nothing has been easy. They've been hurt all year long. They lose. More than half the season they've spent without their starting 1 and 2 corners. They've spent almost half the season without their starting left tackle. This team is constantly getting beaten down and standing back up. I'm not just talking about this because I'm a fan. If you can't see it, if you didn't watch that San Francisco game and realize, like, hey, this isn't just a physical football team because they stood up to San Fran. This is a smart physical football team because that game could have went either way, but they played it right.
Mm.
And even some of the biggest haters I know, a Vikings fan, you might know who I'm talking about. One of the biggest haters I know complimented the offense after that was all said and done. That's an offense without Derrick Henry. That was an offense where A.J. Brown knew he had to win, and he went. He knew he had to be there, and he went and he did it for us. I want to say Julio's back on IR, but who cares?
Yeah. You haven't had Julio all season, so what difference?
Yeah, whatever. Fuck him. And so there's my F bomb. So yeah, man. I'm done sleeping on my guys, and holy shit, Eric, Lamar Jackson was back on the practice field today. I know that was completely off subject, but I got it right here. Got the news feed for us. It's live and popping. Lamar Jackson did play today.
Baltimore against the Rams. The Rams are going to go out to that cold ass Baltimore field.
That's probably going to be my favorite game this week.
I mean, yeah, I'm excited for that game then. All right, so I'll take the dude. The Titans, albeit injured as hell, I still think are a better coach team, more talented on both sides of the ball team. So I'll take the Titans in this
We're
game.
rocky, man.
And all they need, I believe, Jason, let me look here.
We are rocky. We're just constantly keep getting back up. Just keep getting back up, man.
So they either need to win or an Indianapolis loss to clinch the AFC South.
Who's Indy looking at this week?
Indy is playing.
Seattle?
No. I had it in here. Oh, Las Vegas. I totally skipped over that game. My bad. So Indy is hosting Las Vegas. So Indy's at 9-6. Vegas is at 8-7.
That's another gritty team, though.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's been through some trials and tribulations. I still like the Colts to win this game.
It should. Yeah. Wait, no. Carson Wentz has got COVID.
He should be back in time though. As long as his fever. 5? Yeah, it was Tuesday.
He's not vaccinated.
That's fine.
He's got to wait 10 days.
So even unvaccinated or vaccinated, it's 5 days if you're asymptomatic.
All right, we gotta look this up. We gotta make
man.
sure we tell. No. I want to say the timeline. We gotta make sure we tell them right. This is a big week.
I believe it was Tuesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Sunday is the 5th day.
So he will clear. Okay, if he clears COVID-19 protocols.
Yeah.
So it'd be the 5th day on Sunday. Wentz tested positive for COVID-19 on Tuesday. Okay, I see. If he's asymptomatic. So that is still very much up in the air.
Yeah, I don't know if he has symptoms or if he just,
I mean, if he has a fever at all, they won't let him play. So
exactly, yeah.
I
mean,
don't like it.
Yeah, let's say this: if Sam Ehlinger, from what I've heard, he's going to be the starting quarterback if Carson Wentz can't go.
Yeah,
that is a very fair point, Jason. We'll go ahead and go Las Vegas. I mean, really though. How much is the game plan? How much is the game plan going to change?
Let this be the week of the grit, man. Let's just Tennessee will just strong arm Tua out of there, and LA will just strong arm Ellinger out of there, and and the real dogs will eat.
Or Jonathan Taylor could go off for like 200 yards and 4 touchdowns.
He probably will.
I need that in my other dynasty league for him to do that.
He'd probably do that.
Man, yeah, I'll say if Ehlinger plays. because the quarterback is the most position, as we all know.
It is.
Las Vegas is probably going to win that game.
If
If Ellinger plays. So we both agree Tennessee. Oh, this is a these last two games I really like, and we'll get through them kind of fast because we're running a little bit long on time here. The 8-7 Chargers are hosting the 7-8 Broncos.
Chargers. This is a get right game.
I think so too. Talented all over the place. Drew Lock is terrible.
Eckler's back.
Yeah, Eckler's back. Mike Williams should be back.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the Chargers are gonna
absolutely a get right game.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have lost.
Are you still gonna start Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams if you got them?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you have to, man.
Yeah.
I just think because that's all the Broncos do. You can't start Cortland.
Well, the Chargers fucking suck at.
You can't start Cortland Sutton. You can't start Jerry Jeudy with Drew Lock. You just can't do it. Neither one of them have they've been the biggest disappointment in 1-2 wide receivers this whole season. Then our last game of implication, our last game of note here. I'm so excited for this game because I think it's going to be a slobber knocker, as old JR used to say. 7-8 Browns at the 7-1 Steelers. And the division, I won't say the division's on the line per se, but one of these teams obviously one of them's going to win, hopefully, unless there's a tie. Because Steelers do like tying people. And while we're here on the Steelers, I just want to say something real quick. Never the Steelers, Teal City. What do you think about this game? What's your general thoughts?
TJ Watt is TJ Watt healthy now?
I believe so.
He's so up and down. I don't ever know what I'm looking at.
I know he was in last week.
I think he went out though.
Did he?
I want to say TJ Watt got hurt last week.
God almighty, this guy.
Let's make sure with this guy. He will play through cracked ribs.
Oh.
All right. Yeah, he did. He suffered it with the last Sunday. All right. Well, look. I'm still going to say it, especially if he's hurt. They ain't as tough as Cleveland. Cleveland on defense is a tough son of a bitch. And Pittsburgh is crippled. All right. Pittsburgh, they're beaten and battered. They just need life. They need more than TJ Watt. And I'm sorry, it's just the truth.
No, I
know.
agree.
I know there's better. I know there's other guys on the team, but I mean, I think Cleveland pound for pound is the quote unquote better fighter. They're going to strong arm Pittsburgh. They're not. They don't want that. They don't want the smoke.
I just think Baker Mayfield has been so bad this year. It's going to be all. Dude, it's going to be all on Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, who I think is finally healthy from what I've seen.
Yeah, I hope so.
I saw you had him down in your. Down in your flex.
I never let him go.
I see you there. I'm trying to see, man. I just think for Cleveland is going to terrorize Ben Roethlisberger with dude, Myles Garrett. I mean. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough.
Yeah, you can run. That's the difference. You can run at Pittsburgh, all right, and you can stop them up front because their offensive line is not good. And so, where is Pittsburgh going to dominate? They can't. They won't. There's no ability to do so.
Yeah.
And Baker has been bad, but Baker, look, man, I don't know. I don't know where the picks are coming from. I still see the arm talent. I still see the strength. Let's not forget that a year ago, they're sitting in the playoffs, and he waxes Pittsburgh and looked elite doing it.
Yeah.
So what in the world is going on? I don't know. But what I will say is there's too much evidence that Cleveland is a better team than Pittsburgh. And honestly, Big Ben's on a farewell tour, man.
Yeah.
They're so lucky they got one of us. We shouldn't even be worried about a division right now. That game with Pittsburgh, that one hurt. They're just not good.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Cleveland wins this game. Yeah. I mean, I think, man, it's really not going to be close. It's just really not going to be close.
Myles Garrett, baby.
Yeah, but that's all we got. I mean, I think next week will be awesome, man, because we could really, really, really dive in to some end of year stuff. Some absolute we can absolutely dive in to some playoff some play because we mean there's going to be a lot of teams. There's probably going to be one or two teams that are locked in to their seed, and we
Yeah.
can really and me and you can really go through that playoff machine that we went through that one week.
Hmm.
We can look at that thing and we can make our predictions and we can kind of go from there. But that's all that I have tonight. Jason, you got anything else for the people?
Oh, just sorry about being late again.
It's all good.
Hey, man, we'll keep it coming. I hope that we got you to this week, or I hope that you can say that we were part of the journey.
Yeah.
Uh, but anyways, thank you guys for watching us, and I hope you all win.
Oh yeah. Good luck this week, everybody. Um, bring home some trophies, some belts. Like I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring home a trophy and a
I'm
belt.
gonna bring home a trophy.
It's gonna be a good game, man. I'm really excited for our game, but
Yeah,
we'll talk about that offline. I'm sure this whole
a
rest of
lot.
this week.
I think we'll talk about it a lot.
Yeah, hell yeah. And it might not. It's not going to be so cordial.
It
We're
won't.
going to say real mean things to each other. But hey, what like just to kind of reiterate what Jason said. Thank y'all for watching this whole year. Very, very, very much. We are both and Cam as well. Wishing y'all good luck in week 17,
Mhm.
and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Please put your trampoline